Hello!
We're Lemon Knife.
And we're coming back at you with our 30 through 21 artists.
Of all time.
All of the time ever.
Number 30. Coming at you straight and fast is Ted Leo. Straight and fast, much like his haircut, which I assume he usually has in that crew-cutted style.
At least lately, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a punk magician. He kind of is like another of those artists that I like so much, where they're on the kind of the line between punk and classic rock. Like, you could probably take some of his songs, like if you played Where Have All the Rude Boys Gone, in a station playing like Led Zeppelin in Boston or something, like it wouldn't sound way out of place. So he can write those really memorable riffs like that. But then he's got just like the really like Take No Prisoners political songs like Bomb Repeat, and just this great range of things, really interesting lyrics, always about, interesting topics from a neat angle, and just like somebody with that clearly has a lot of like personal integrity.
Yeah, like, great as instruments too, great guitarist, great singer.
Yeah.
So just all around great musician.
Yeah, he always a good one to see live.
Oh, yes. If he ever does that Spirit of Radio thing again. Oh, yes. Man. Get that at every set, please. All right. My number 30, a little bit different from Ted Leo. It is Jethro Tall. It is Leo Ted. That's right. It's not even that far off. And grammatically, no. But Jethro Tall. They're another one of those bands that kind of is a little bit overinflated in the best of ways, but they're still very much rockers. I mean, they all like
Are
study.
they British enough for you, Mia?
Oh, extremely. the Brits are really the ones that get my attention. No, but yeah, I mean, everyone was like well trained, like classically trained in music. I mean, they've got a stinking flute player at the forefront. He's the front person.
Hey, he's allergic to most brands of deodorant. You treat him more nicely than that.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. He's a very clean smelling gentleman, I'm sure. No, but like they do still do straight ahead rock, and they make a lot of, their lyrics are great and snarky and scathing. They have that whole Aqualung album that just goes from like, sympathizing with the homeless to, being very aggressively against devout Christians kind of a thing,
Yeah.
Just like slamming Christianity but not God,
Yeah, organized religion.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, just fabulous stuff all the way around. What a unique group.
All right, speaking of, actually, I'm sure these guys have been on a bill at some point together. They are both very British.
Extremely
This
British.
is Richard Thompson.
Oh, there's another British guy. Yes, there's another very British guy.
This guy, what a range of things he does as well. Because his songs, he's like a master of folk guitar. He does a lot of, like, just listen to the Motorcycle 1952.
The song
Vincent
about
Black
the
Lightning.
song with the year
and
the cycle.
Yeah, and that just has that unbelievably like complicated acoustic picking riff. We saw him like a couple years ago at age 60 something, and he's still playing that riff like fantastically without a flaw. And but then he also like plays a killer electric guitar. Like, he does these just amazing jams, and on top of it, really interesting lyric writing and just like songwriting too. Like, he's got these catchy, straightforward songs like "Turning of the Tide" or the "I Feel So Good." Just,
I mean, what a career! Just like all of these decades, just a little chameleon, really.
Doing so many different things, and then "Wall of Death," like pretty piano-y kind of like. I gotta stop using "pretty" to describe so many things. Pretty. What's your number 29, Pretty Mia?
Well, Pretty John, which makes less sense. My number 29 artist is The Killers. You probably figured they were coming up at some point, John, but
Yep.
Yeah, you're not surprised. But it's a band that I think does a surprising amount of like puts a surprising amount of like Heartland Springsteen stuff into like an indie sound, and still just all the way around just kind of, being pretty aggressive with it. I don't know if they're like full on rock per se, like alternative They're certainly alternative, but like surprising amount of Heartland for that alternative.
Yeah, like some of their songs, like especially from the first album, it sound like they would be like playing like in Europe in like a discotheque at 4 a.m. or something.
Right down to their pronunciation of the word promenade.
Yeah,
yes.
and then these later ones are like they'll be playing like a roadside bar or by the Stuckavilla Highway or something.
It's just they're another band that kind of evolves. I mean, their latest album has not been the absolute finest, but
no, they've been on a downward trend.
Hopefully they go a little upward. I mean, there's still time. They're a young band.
Was still great, so they're only like 2 or 3 albums removed from a great album.
So like they still know how to write songs, and there's still hope. That's right. But even something as recent as The Band was great. Like song by song, like things still come out really well, and their instruments are great. The vocals are great.
Yeah, they did a whole album of that. That could be interesting. Like that
very
pure
dancey.
Disco.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's coming up next for John?
All right, my 28 is a very, classic rock. It's Deep Purple.
Mm-hmm.
The finest of the colors.
The finest of colors. Finest of colors.
And this is, mainly based, like, Machine Head is such a good album
Perfect
that this
album.
is, like, at least 50% based on that album. And then maybe another 10% each, Child in Time and Burn. But they've just kind of, they're spread out over a lot of things. They generally, aside from Machine Head, just have a couple great songs per album, but those songs are just
so great.
Incredible. Like their peak is through the roof. Their neighbors are complaining because there's like a hole
big
burned up
gaping
there,
hole in the roof,
where they rocketed through the ceiling and wrote a masterpiece.
And every so often they come back through the other hole and take a break from making a really great album, but
yeah, and then they even their like corny 80s material has some highlights.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like just what talented
just, like,
musicians.
The people who wrote like Hush and Child in Time and Burn and Smoke on the Water and Highway Star, they got to be on the list.
Oh yeah. And they might be again. So I'm going to keep my trap shut. Number 28. We're talking about, are they British enough for me, Mia? They're not as British as these guys, the Jam. Actually, no, who's more British? Jethro Tall or the Jam?
I don't know.
I think they're very British in
flutes
different
and
directions.
medieval horns and
They're like ancient Britain.
Yeah. It's Britain now and then.
Britain now and then. There you go. But yeah, the Jam, a continuation of that mod revival of a few other bands you're going to see later on in the list of just, that British invasion modsy stuff. Mm-hmm. And they take it and just kind of elevate it to an even more like politically charged, aggressive, punky style of stuff. And, they're still,
The word aggressive shows up a lot in our positive descriptions, doesn't it?
Aggressive, yes. But there's... and I tend to like my music a little less aggressive than yours, but aggressive in, like, the finest of ways. Like, and all the instrumentalists, once again, it's a 3-piece. Bruce Fox and a fantastic underrated bass player. And, Paul Weller writing the stuff. And the drummer. Who's the drummer,
Great.
John?
All right. My number 27.
What, do you know?
I see how it is.
What, do you know?
No. My number 27 is the Decemberists. And this is, I guess, I'm alternating between folk and non-folk here. And once again, they do a great job of kind of both sides of the coin. They do they write, if you read his lyrics, you would assume you're reading somebody's, like, Shakespeare fan fiction.
Shakespeare fan fiction.
Veranda, my sweet untouched Miranda. But, like, they tell such great stories, and their instruments, kick a surprising amount of ass too. Mm-hmm. Like they can do some real rockers. They can do some like really big builds, like something like Sons and Daughters just kind of builds into like this huge triumph. A lot of sing-alongs. Perfect Crime's almost in that disco feel.
Yeah, they do a lot of great stuff while keeping that consistent style too.
And they've mixed things up a lot. I think maybe their first album or two is more like pure folk, and then they kind of branched out into rock and other styles, and they've been branching out even more.
They never lost that storytelling flair, though.
Yeah.
Still gotta read Wildwood. In other news.
What else is on your booklet? The other thing you should
read
is your number 27 artist.
My number 27 artist takes a lot less time to read than Wildwood or any of the Decemberists lyrics, or even the Decemberists itself. Decemberists. about to say Decemberists, Soundgarden, yeah. Which, once again, kind of primarily based on Super Unknown, the album.
I'm looking
Oh, no.
California, but feeling Minnesota.
Tia. He's gonna figure out a way to put Tia in there. But yeah, primarily based on Super Unknown, which Outshined isn't on. But funny you should mention that. I want a Decemberist cover. Yep. The grass is always now I'm in Paul Banks.
The grass is always greener where the dogs have shitted. If you ate my apple, I would feel pitted.
Hey, wait! It's a black hole, son. Anyway, back to Soundgarden.
Yes.
Yeah, great grunge group. Chris Cornell, one of the finest vocalists we've had, obviously. And just all the way around, great musicianship all the way around. The rhythm section kicks butt.
Yeah.
The guitar is great. And just like, peak grunge music in fantastic directions.
Yeah, they didn't quite make my list. They're a bit too dour for me.
I like
but
that.
I like
a
a lot
little
of their
dour.
songs. Yeah.
I like my darkness.
Let's see. What's the big four of grunge? Like Soundgarden,
Pearl
Alice
Jam,
in
Alice in
Chains, Pearl
Chains.
Jam, Nirvana.
Yeah, I think that's the four.
All right. Well, one of them will make my list.
Yeah,
I'll
another
give you
one will make
give
my
you
list.
2 guesses. Yeah.
I'll give you 2 guesses of the other one of mine too. So yeah.
All right, my number 26 is following in the Deep Purple vein, and this is Dream Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Just like very just pure prog in its maybe most dictionary definition form. Like they're just the kings of crazy long songs with tons of things going on.
Insane instruments.
I think Images and Words by far my favorite of their records, just because of how majestic it feels, and it feels a little less kind of chaotic.
The runner-up is, of course, The Astonishing.
No, the runner-up it would be something like Octavarium,
Yeah.
where they're a lot heavier.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of also they're not like as wide of a range, but they have kind of like more mellow, more things more on the prog side and things more on the metal side of their range, and they do both of those excellently. Like something like The Root of All Evil or As I Am, just this straightforward Metallica-like thrash they can pull off completely.
Lots of
and they can
Hetfield
pull off
impersonations,
kind of
yeah.
Pull me under the 8-minute Shakespearean epic.
Yeah, Hamlet. Absolutely. Like they've got a lot of great stuff. They didn't quite make my list, but they were actually fairly close. They were probably like 55 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess who it is? It's Deep Purple.
Hey.
Number 26. I'll cap on my my little comments of just like how great the instrumentalists all are in like any lineup really, which I guess the lineup primarily changed the vocalists. I mean, Ian Gillan obviously my favorite, like absolutely like top tier of the vocalists that have ever existed. But Richie Blackmore is a fantastic guitarist, and he's got his side projects as well, which were really good, like Rainbow and those. John Lord on organ, etc., like all the way around, really.
My number 25 is Block Party doing Silent Alarm.
You didn't write it down there.
I didn't write it
It's
down.
very important part of the.
No, this is a kind of like British 2000s group. I think, did Franz Ferdinand make your list?
Yes.
Okay, so this is kind of like their.
Spoiler alert.
They're more. Oh, they're really. This
Yeah.
is kind of their like similar guitar sound, but like more. This is their serious cousin.
Serious cousin.
They both kind of make similar music, but kind of Block Party are definitely writing a lot more kind of like political or dark lyrics.
One's a lot more sarcastic than the other, yeah.
Yeah, Franz Ferdinand are a lot more sarcastic, snarky, having fun. Block Party are just like, but Block Party's music is still having a lot of fun. It's got those like really great kind of like crunchy, angular chords. They might be maybe the band that pulled those off best of the like 2000s kind of post-punk revival, and just so much energy, especially Silent Alarm. I got to point to again. A lot of my ones this week have like one killer album, like Silent Alarm, Images and Words, Machine
But that seems
Head.
to be enough, yeah.
Yeah. What's your number 25?
My number 25 is... They probably don't deserve it. Do I care?
They don't deserve it.
Do I care? No, it's Royal Blood. This is the band that started it all for Miss Mia and her thinking about a duo. And then I roped John into it. But yes, they absolutely...
And 4 years and 3 album sales later, here we are.
Yep! It started it all! The hero's journey of Lemon Knife with their 3 album sales. Someday we'll look back on this, it's like, that's when we had 3 album sales. Yeah, now we have 5.
6. Yep,
same joke.
And even same response to same joke.
We do this a lot anyway. Yeah, no, but they are fantastic. Just a heck of a lot of noise out of 2 people. You know, still managing to do a few things in that 2-person lineup, which, you know, I hope we kind of follow in the steps there too, and just still inspirations. They really are.
Yeah, some great grooves there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my number 24 is The Killers once again. So what is your number 24?
I don't want to say anything else about the instrumentalists and go on too long about something I already brought up. No? Okay. Yeah, number 24, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Why did I say Red Hot Chili Peppers? It's like, it's
Peps.
Ridge Racer! Ridge Racer! Red Hot Chili Peppers really perfected that whole, like, California rap rock thing, and certainly perfected the whole California thing. As soon as I said it, why did I bring in California into the discussion? But no, you know, frickin' Flea, man. I mean, if he were an artist by himself, he would probably be number 24 on my list. But
he's
just
done
everything,
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Everything combined. I mean, like John Frusciante and the other, you know, rotating guitarist. Right, Chad Smith, right, is the drummer of this.
Yep,
yeah.
You got one drummer.
You
right.
know what I mean? You know what? I'm pretty sure a band you're gonna see later on my list, the last person you learned the name of was the bassist. So.
Well, bassists don't, exist. They don't have human rights.
We'll talk about it later, John. Continue. Yeah, that's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Who's a Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist? I don't think I'm familiar.
What? The person you just said did a lot of stuff, John. You're ruining your own joke here.
Oh, yeah, I was just guessing, because he seemed like he needed the money. That's right. My number 20.
There's so little sense to be made out of this.
Number 23 is my only rap artist, and this is Immortal Technique. And this is just what a songwriting genius.
Mm-hmm.
Just like so many, he's got like so many like kilowatt, like any song you pick of his, you'd find at least like 5 to 10 lines that makes you go, oh shit, he went there,
Mm-hmm.
and like.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. And sometimes in a bad way.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
like some obnoxious, yeah.
Yeah. But just like, he's got so many, I remember playing Obnoxious, the first time, like there were so many lines where the person would just like look over.
What
like,
now? What did you say?
Said that, yeah, and like just like a king of this like kind of great protest rap. He writes about all sorts of topics as well, and then of course he has his concert closing like incredibly dark masterpiece, Dance with the Devil.
Yeah.
Just what a guy, and great kind of ethos as well.
And he nearly made my list on live performance alone. Oh my goodness, can this guy do a performance?
Yes.
Incredible. So, my number 23, we found these guys a little while ago on John's list. That's the Foo Fighters. I have nothing more to add.
All right, my number 22 we're going to see on Mia's list at some point, and this is Muse.
Yeah, who's their bassist, John? Now you know who the bassist is.
Chris Wolfenhead.
Okay, in your defense, that is definitely the hardest name to remember of the bunch. The what the wow now? I think I was calling him Chris Wollstonecraft for a while when I was first learning about the band, which is Mary Wollstonecraft. What?
Frankenstein?
No, not even. I don't even remember what it is she wrote. Something.
Okay, well, yeah, anyway, Muse are, just fantastic, especially when they get heavier and when they don't put so much synth in.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and of course, great live performers.
Oh, absolutely. Like, one of the finest on the planet right now. But you'll hear more about them from me later.
I'm sure I will.
You'll hear too much about them from me later. I'll have 10 extra minutes on the video from me later. Yeah, so Franz Ferdinand did in fact make my list at number 22. Pretty high up there, but I realized looking back, it's like, holy smokes, these guys are really good. They have 2 albums I find near perfect. They have their debut album, Franz Ferdinand, and they have You Can Have It So Much Better. And really just kind of kings of that...
Leon.
Not on anyone's list.
No.
The kings of that dance rock style. And I think they kind of like really were the first to do it in the way they did it. And just kind of kickstarted a bunch of stuff that way. And of course, you know, I think like the lyrics here are completely underrated. Like The Fallen is one of the finest lyrics I can think of.
Yeah, just
really.
like from hearing their sound, you might assume it's all about like, you know, chasing girls at the pub or whatever. But like, then, you know, if you heard the lyrics, it's not.
And something that delighted me was I remember when we went to see them live, I was expecting like a bunch of like really serious looking suave guys to show up, and I'm like, what a bunch of dorks! I love this, you know, which is always a delight when I find that out. Always.
It gives you hope for the future.
Yes, for myself. Yes.
My number 21 is Elvis Costello. We saw him earlier on Mia, a lot lower on Mia's list.
I kept my trap shut, so take it away.
So Elvis Costello, what a guy. Now there is someone, you know, he takes all these other people I've talked about. Oh, they do a lot of things. They do prog metal, and he's like, he just gives them a scornful look through.
That's like the bottom half of a meme.
Yeah.
You do prog metal and metal? That's cute, shows Elvis Costello's face.
Yeah, because he has done everything. He has done new wave, you know, like new wave closer to punk. He's done kind of like old Americana-y stuff, straight up pop, blues, just every kind of thing, a lot of singer-songwriter-y type things. He's just done a big wide swath of stuff. My favorite album of his, certainly this year's Model, I think a near perfect album with so many great songs on it. But all of his work, he has so many, even if you took the songs that I like kept by him, even those would have a whole wide range of styles. Like in 2018, he did this whole kind of like soulful piano album. Year might be wrong, whatever. And
like
even
that.
even that was just terrific. Like amazing lyric writer. He has like this incredibly distinctive voice and just a huge career with a great wealth of material.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Enormous.
All right, what is our final one of the video?
Playing us off is Janice Joplin, who really I would be remiss to not mention at all as someone who at all kind of started the trend of like incredibly, you know, ripping your own throat apart vocalists, just, you know, female or male, really. She just kind of went out there and completely gave it her all. Just extremely passionate, distinct vocals, and, you know, this just completely melting into herself stage presence. Just, it's something you strive to do, that I strive to do, and it just never comes naturally. How someone like that did it, I just never quite understood. Like, again, this is a person that kind of made the list on performance, really on performance and voice alone, just like even more than any of her songs. She just killed it all the dang time. And it blows my mind how anyone could do that consistently.
I have no snarky remark to add.
Isn't that nice? We're not going to talk about Poland in this video?
No Poland in this video. This will be up before the Poland one, so
I'm sorry, you have Poland to look forward to.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, you'll know.